So many times in the past I was this close to buy a pair of Chandler Germanium compressors. One of the best sounding, most colored, but also most versatile compressors out there. I would dare to say one of the few new classics. And it looks like I might not have to buy the hardware because Softube just released a great sounding plug-in version of the Chandler Germanium compressor. Let's take a listen. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you're having a great day. Before we start, check the info box down below for my mixing courses on ProMix Academy, free plugins, special discounts and offers, and also link to Softube Chandler Germanium. If our videos are helping you, you want to support the channel, but also access to exclusive content like members only live chats, posts, videos, live stream, and also mix consultations with me via email or Skype, click the join button down here. See all the perks of becoming a MixbusTv member. Let's get to the video. The Chandler Germanium was one of those compressors that as soon as it came out, it was already a classic. Both because it's Chandler, they have a history of making great gear, and second because as soon as you read Germanium, any engineer, any audio enthusiast know that is going to be colored and it's going to be fun. And Softube, in my opinion, recreated perfectly the tone, the character, the color, the behavior of the original unit. This compressor is often advertised as a drum compressor, as a drum smasher, which can do absolutely great, but in my opinion, is as good, if not better, as a mastering compressor, as a overall color for your mix. It's a great compressor for vocals. It's a great compressor for warming up synths. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at the control panel and hear it in action. With this, I will start backwards. I will start from the Germanium Drive and the feedback control because that's the heart of the color of this compressor. The Germanium Drive is basically your output gain, but it's not just that. It's linked directly to the feedback control. Now, the feedback control is the tone of your color, and with the Germanium Drive, you decide how much to put that in. Now, the various combinations of these two is what gives you all the tones this compressor is capable of. The feedback control, your tone control, work this way. At lower settings will have less THD, less harmonic distortion, more high end, and a more pristine, clear sound. If you start pushing it to higher level, you will get more THD, so more color, more harmonic distortion, a raise in the bass in the low range, and a slight roll off at the top. I will start just moving these two controls, not really the compression, on a drum kit. Pay attention to the kick drum, how big it gets when you start turning the feedback clockwise. Okay, you hear immediately the kick drum gets bigger, the whole kit gets fuller with the feedback all the way up. Other controls are the standards for any compressor. So we have an input, a side chain that removes the low end from the detection circuit so the compressor doesn't react to low frequency that much. A ratio that goes to 1 to 11. And then we have the comp curve. The curve is not just your knee, it changes the behavior of the compressor. And Chandler use different combinations of germanium and silicon diodes to give you more possibilities. Resistance, for example, is the most neutral. GermSoft uses a single germanium diode. Medium uses 5 of another kind of germanium diode. Silicon medium has a single diode that sharpens the knee even more compared to the Germ. And silicon hard uses 2 silicon diodes in combination, and then we have the Zener ARD that uses 1 single Zener diode, which is the sharpest knee. Mix knob for parallel compression on board, attack, release, and output knob standard, and the plug-in version of course has mid-side processing capabilities and the possibility of an external sidechain. Let's hear how it sounds. Talk about fattening, huh? Really like this. The color is fuzzy and warm, as you would expect from a germanium based unit. You heard it can be very pumpy, and the curve changes the behavior so much. You see, using it with this kind of setting, so in Zener mode with the curve as its sharpest point and the attack fast all the way dry and just touching the peaks, it kind of almost works as a limiter, and it makes the drum kit more dense and very, very controlled. If you keep the feedback on the lower settings, it's pretty transparent, I want to say clear, okay? Now, Germ, Mad, and Soft are probably the two curves that you will want to start with. They work on most materials and then go from there. You hear I'm trying to level match, but try to go beyond the level difference. You hear how the low level information is brought up in such a natural way, and I'm using crazy extreme settings, okay? I kind of liked it this way. I don't want more snap. The drum is already snapped. I'm using the fastest attack and ratio 11, and then I'm injecting a little bit of super compressed signal into it, and it sounds so very natural. And listen to the stereo field. It's great because when you do parallel compression, when you mix dry and wet, also the feedback Germanium Drive section, so the color is mixed into it. So it's not that aggressive. You get the same tone, the same curve, the same frequency response of the feedback all the way to 10, so the big bottom end, a little bit of roll off, but you dose that color with the wet dry knob. Let's try it on vocals because this is a great vocal compressor as well. For rock vocals in general, male, female, but especially for female vocals, I find the Germanium compressor suits very well because of this fuzzy tone that it has.
All I ever wanted was to stand my ground. Big words to confuse and spin your mind around. But every little step just takes me further down. I found my soul just waiting in the lost lost and found.
It just takes away the edge of that top end, especially in this bit here, with and without.
I found my soul just waiting in the lost and found. I found my soul just waiting in the lost and found.
And as you can see, it's pretty grabby and aggressive, okay? So let's try to put soft. Actually, no, I want it to react to the highest peak almost only, and we lower the ratio. We keep the attack a little slower and see how it goes.
I found my soul just waiting in the lost and found. I found my soul just waiting in the lost and found. I found my soul just waiting in the lost and found.
It's pretty crazy how it sits. Of course, this vocal is going to 2 cents, a reverb and a delay, but it sits the vocal inside the effects. I'm gonna try it on a couple of full mixes because, like I said before, this is a great 2-bus compressor. I think Michael Brower uses it on the 2-bus, so let's try it on a mix. Something that we didn't mention is it has a switch here, clean comp and dirty comp. So with the FET circuit, the Germanium is capable of going fairly clean, never transparent, but fairly clean to dirty. We will switch that to here because we didn't use it so far.
Try to look around yourself, everything just looks so bad. The world we're living seems to be so wild. What is good we're gonna change, and what is bad we're going to bring. But baby, trust me, was somewhere to follow. What's the meaning of the time you're wasting? You better say it all. What's the reason why you look so frightening? We're here.
All right, first of all, between the two, I definitely like the dirty better, but that's not a news if you know me. Yeah, it sounds really good. Let me try mid-side.
Try to look around yourself, everything just looks so bad. The world we're living seems to be so wild. What is good we're gonna change, and what is bad we're going to bring. But baby, trust me, was somewhere to follow. What's the meaning of the time you're wasting? You better say it all. What's the reason why you look so frightening?
Yeah, it's somewhat, it has a very recognizable imprint on the material, but it's also very subtle. It's really hard to describe this compressor. You really need to hear it. I hope you can hear enough from the video, but my advice is just get a demo and spend some time with it, because I cannot think of any compressor that does the same thing, that has the same color of this one. Is, again, it's very specific. That's why you see the hardware in so many studios. It's a great compressor, and nothing sounds like it. Let's try it on a hip-hop mix. Pay attention to the detail and the high end and the hats and the vocals.
Tryna sound like what real sound like. I'm still the same down guy, same down vibes. I know that you heard this. I deserve this after what the hurt did. It done turned out perfect. I'm just tryna sound like what real sound like. I'm still the same down guy, same down vibes. I know that you heard this. I deserve this after what the hurt did. It done turned out perfect.
All right, so the feedback control, it doesn't just give you that muscle at the bottom end, but it also gives you this clarity. If you keep it in the lower range, in the lower settings, it's very nice how it opens up the mix, especially in that high mid range.
Tryna sound like what real sound like. I'm still the same down guy, same down vibes. I know that you heard this. I deserve this after what the hurt did. It done turned out perfect. I'm just tryna sound like what real sound like. I'm still the same down guy, same down vibes. I know that you heard this. I deserve this after what the hurt did. It done turned out perfect. I told you I'd make it. Tryna sound like what real sound like. I'm still the same down guy, same down vibes. I know that you heard this. I deserve this after what the hurt did. It done turned out perfect. I'm just tryna sound like what real sound like. I'm still the same down guy, same down vibes. I know that you heard this. I deserve this after what the hurt did. it, it done turn out perfect. I told you I'd make it, tryna sound like what real sound like. I'm still the same down guy, same down vibes. I know that you heard.
It speaks for itself, I think. Density, the stereo image is like still wide and even wider, if anything. It's and the color overall, whether you use it in direct or with the blend knob, which is probably the most common use for this kind of compressor, but in general, you saw me using it in direct and it sounds absolutely great. Softube Chandler Germanium. I am so very happy that they did this. So like I said, it's a piece of hardware that I've been wanting for a long time. Softube Chandler Germanium. I am so very happy that Softube did this because, like I said before, it's a piece of hardware that I've always wanted. And after trying the plugin, to be honest, I don't feel the need of dropping the cash to buy the hardware, and I can have as many instances as I want. And like I said before, this is no news. Softube impressed me before with some other of their offerings. The TLA 100 is one of my favorite compressors for vocals, so this wasn't easy, I bet, with all the tones and the different components inside. Anyway, this is it for this video. The link to the Germanium compressor is gonna be in the info box down below. At the time of this video, this one is on sale, so if you want it, this is the right moment. If you liked the video, please don't forget to leave a like. Follow MixbusTv on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.